Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. KenCast.
Hey everyone, welcome to KenCast. I hope you're all having a great New Year's Eve. I think you just saw a little glimpse of a very special guest I have on today for the very first time. It's my very faithful friend, Luigi. Wonderful, wonderful dog. He's a lap dog. He would be happy just to sit here in my lap this entire live stream, but he wanted to join us in celebrating New Year's Eve. And wherever you are in the world right now, it may already be 2024, but here near the valley in California, it is still firmly 2023, and we're counting down the hours. And so I know this is a little early, but I wanted to celebrate with all of you today. I hope you're having a great day and a great day of reflection on the year 2023. And today I thought together we could celebrate 2023, a year of highs and entertainment lows, namely the strikes. But hopefully it's been a good year for all of you. And if it wasn't the best year, then hopefully 2024 will be a much better year. Thank you for joining us today. It's wonderful to spend time with you. I want to say hi to some, wow, a lot of great comments. Javier, save silver. Yes, indeed. Save silver. And, we'll be talking a bit about Terry Silver today. I've got something over my shoulder. I don't know if you can quite see it, but something very special. And we'll get to that pretty soon. But we got to work on saving Terry Silver. As you saw in the thumbnail today, he's celebrating behind bars. He's celebrating the new year behind bars, which is not good. It should never happen that way. So we'll see if we can get him out of jail. Ben Metello says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Ben. Good to see you. We're talking Star Wars. Bonsai, Ken, and everyone. Indeed, Melissa, Bonsai, Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you too. Thank you for joining us. Jasmine, thank you for the incredible videos. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for your comment, Jasmine. Thank you for tuning in. It really means the world that you guys enjoy the same stuff that I do and we do, all the guests who come on here. Nerd World says, good evening to Ken in the chat. In Germany, it's still 31:12, but in 2 hours, it will be New Year. Also wish all of you Happy New Year and wonderful 2024. Okay, so for most everyone, it is still 2023, which is great. It's still New Year's Eve. Name of the dog, Luigi. Yes, it is Luigi. Here's Luigi. He's a great guy. Very, very cute, affectionate dog. He is Luigi. I had a cousin Luigi, but also he kind of has a mustache and he jumps really high. So video game fans, yes, he does resemble the video game Luigi. Aurelio, Happy New Year's Eve, Sensei Cole. Happy New Year's Eve to you too, Sensei. My goodness. Excited for season 6 in 2024 and the return of Terry Silver. I know, and I hope it's a triumphant return. I agree. We'll have to talk a bit about season 6 today in our live stream. Jorge says, Happy New Year, Ken, save silver. Yeah, save silver. I'm so excited, guys. We've started a movement here. It's amazing. Clifford, thanks for being a channel member, Clifford. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Ken and everyone. Gabe, wonderful to see you, Gabe. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's make 2024 the most badass ever. I agree. The All Valley Cobra Kai 84. I love that. Hello, dear brother Ken. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Terry says, Happy New Year, Ken. So glad to be here. Terry, thank you for being here too. And whether you're joining us for the first time or you've watched so many times, it's just great to have you here. And I'd like to point out, we are like this close away from getting 20,000 subscribers. In fact, single digits. I think like 6 or 7 more subscribers. So if you're watching this right now and you're not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and put us over 20,000. It's an amazing milestone. I'm absolutely flabbergasted and so thankful to know all of you. So let's see what Melissa says. Was it confirmed that Silver is returning in season 6? Well, we'll talk about that. We will talk about that. It's it's probably I'll tell you everything I was able to find about that. Uh, Terry says, I just hope whatever happens that Terry doesn't die or remain in prison, right? Unless Terry and Kreese can be bunkmates. That would be fun, wouldn't it? And then they'd be forced to work out their problems. K-Tom, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hello, Ken. Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to you too. You look great with the Save Silver backpack. Thank you for your support. Thanks for being a Terry Silver fan and for watching KenCast. It's great to have you here. And I hope you have a wonderful new year wherever you are. Darkest Hour. Hey, all. Good to see you. Royan, hello, Ken. I'm little brother of K-Tom. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And, you know, one of the things that's so exciting is that people are joining us from all around the world. Like, for instance, sorry, Lisa, Happy New Year, Ken, and everyone in the chat from the UK. I mean, we've got people from everywhere, and it's just so exciting. And, you know, we've got families watching, guys. We've got, I hope I'm pronouncing these right. Kauthar, I'm the sister. Thank you. Gosh, thank you guys for watching. Well, in the chat today, if you're watching, if there are things you want to talk about, if you have questions, let me know and we can talk about those things. I did have some technical issues this morning. I had some internet connection issues I had to troubleshoot. So I have most of everything I wanted to cover today ready, but some of it is going to be kind of like seat of our pants. We're just gonna be having fun today. Joseph Dennis, how goes it, man? Really excited for season 6. Me too. It's happening. It's happening. And you know, it's going to be shooting in a matter of days. John Hurwitz retweeted Courtney Hengler. She was kind of getting ready and he was saying packing for season 6. So it looks like everyone's packing and getting ready to go to Atlanta to start or to continue, I should say, shooting season 6, which is great. And Simone, that's great. Thank you for joining us today. My goodness. Hey, you guys, nothing speaks to the power of KenCast and to the community here more than families watching together. So I hope you're able to spend your New Year's Eve with those closest to you. Very happy New Year and save silver, of course. Dale, good to see you, Dale. Thanks for joining us. Mario, great to see you. DJ Club Rules. Hey, Ken, I watch you on Drew's channel a couple of times. I love Cobra Kai. It's my favorite show. And you know something? It might be mine as well. It's just an amazing show. And thank you for joining us and for watching Drew's channel. I've loved in 2023. I've had this wonderful opportunity to collaborate with Drew, the Cobra Kai kid, and then also he's got DrewTube. So many things to talk about. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch the I Went to the Cobra Kai concert documentary. I shot that and he put it together. Really an amazing documentary for anyone who's a fan of Cobra Kai. Nance, I hear the last episode for season 6 will be 2 hours. We'll talk about that too. And I apologize I didn't get all the screenshots I intended to for today's live stream, but I can verbally tell you about what's going on there. That is from a tweet from Hayden Schlossberg, and we can talk more about that. But I guess the short answer is he was teasing all the possibilities. The only thing we know for sure, if you believe Hayden, and I do to a certain extent, he might be messing with us a little bit, but he was basically saying that the entire runtime of season 6 will be the longest yet. So for all the seasons of Cobra Kai, that season 6 will have the longest overall runtime. And it will be 10 episodes long. And then so Mike, Cobra Kai Wisdom, who's been on this KenCast multiple times, we love having Mike on here. He suggested that the runtime of each episode was going to be like 45 minutes or something like that. But then Hayden teased there are a lot of possibilities. Maybe the first 8 episodes are a half hour and the last 2 are 2 hours. So I think that's where that comes from. But it's just a teasing idea. The only thing we know for sure, and you know, it's not even shot and edited yet, so we don't know, is that it will have the longest overall runtime for the whole season compared to the other seasons. So if that makes sense, let me know if anyone's confused. Mario, happy New Year in advance. Happy New Year to you too. Absolutely, guys. It's not quite New Year's, but we can definitely wish each other New Year's. That's why we're here today. Terry Johnson says, save silver. Marianella, Happy New Year from Argentina. Happy New Year. I hope you guys in Argentina are doing well. Thanks for joining us, Marianella. It's always great to see you. By the way, if you're watching on X, formerly Twitter, right now, you can the replies to this live stream show up as comments now. So if you want to put in a comment or you have a question, you can reply on X, and it will show up in here, and we can talk about it. So feel free to do that. We'd love to hear from you. Terry Johnson, I should be drinking out of my safe silver cup. Yeah, it's it's amazing. Whether you have water or anything else, just tastes better coming out of the safe silver mug or cup or thermos or whatever you'd like to drink out of. Yeah, Luigi's a big fan as well. See Luigi, see everyone. He just wants to relax and cuddle. So Sonic Go says, I'm a little sad I won't get to be in season 6. I'm an actor, but without an agent, I don't hear about auditions. Well, right. And it's a tough thing, obviously, to get into a show like Cobra Kai. But what you might do if you're in the Atlanta area is sometimes they have casting calls for extras. So they might have crowd shots or they might need people in certain shots. So if you're in the Atlanta area, you can definitely look out for casting calls to be an extra. That might be an option. They had those right when season 6 was supposed to start shooting back in early May before the writer's strike. So they might have more of those as filming goes on. So look out for those. Dale, when are you Drew finishing season 6? I need to talk to Drew. He wants to continue, that's for sure. And we the only thing is I am going to be traveling a little bit coming up this next week. So I might have to get back on a time, but yeah, that was so much fun. If you watch those, I'm glad you enjoyed them. They're a lot of fun coming up with what we think could happen writing season 6. Melissa says, what are your hopes and expectations for Chosen in this upcoming season? Well, look, we're Terry Silver fans here, but obviously Chosen's amazing. And I know that he may have to deal with legal repercussions of what he did at the end of season 5. I mean, he did break all kinds of laws. He assaulted Terry Silver in his own home. But hopefully he gets out of that, and I hope he continues to be a mentor. He does have that essence of Miyagi-Do. He's kind of a substitute for Miyagi in a way, or a surrogate, you could say, for Miyagi. He has that essence and just such a great character. So I hope he plays a huge part in season 6, and really we get to see a ton of Chosen in season 6. That's what I think. Hopefully he doesn't have to spend too long behind bars. Let's see. So you'll be talking about your stream? Well, answering questions for now. We're going to be doing, I got something over my shoulder there. I'll break out in a little bit. We'll do some reflections on the year. And I don't know, talk about some cool things I found. We're just hanging out. We're having a New Year's party today. Nerd World says at the end, he'll troll us all. Yeah. Well, something, he's got a fun sense of humor, and even if he is trolling, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. That's what I think. Joseph says, now the real pain begins, Danny boy. Yes, indeed. Clifford says, what do you think of the video I emailed to you? You know what? I have to check my email. I don't know if I saw that. I will check that, Clifford, before we have another members only stream a little bit later. So I'll check that before we start that. I just found out Hawk, Tori, and Dimitri will be at the next comic convention in February 2024. Wow, that's pretty cool. I assume that's probably around Atlanta. So that'll be very exciting. I am so glad that the cast continues to appear at conventions and whenever I've met any of the cast or crew of Cobra Kai, they are just incredible. They're just wonderful people. And I think if you get a chance to go and meet any of them or see them speak, you'll come away feeling great, feeling like $1,000,000. They're all incredible. DJ Club Rules. I just subscribed to you slash hashtag Save Silver, Hash Brown Save Silver. He's my favorite Cobra Kai villain. Indeed. And, some of us, we agree with you 100%. And some of us may say slightly unfairly cast as a villain. I can understand if people think that. Absolutely. But, he's got so many great qualities that, I think he transcends villains. So K-Time asks, will season 6 still have 10 episodes? And the answer seems to be yes. Hayden came out and basically said that season 6 will have 10 episodes. Unless he's trolling us, I don't think so. But, it looks like it'll probably have 10 episodes. But he did say that the entire runtime for the season will be longer than any previous season. So, if you look at the patterns, and this is just my thought on it, if you look at the patterns of how long the episodes are, especially in recent seasons, usually as you get towards the finale, those episodes get longer. So I'm guessing the last few episodes of season 6 are probably going to be longer than any episode we've seen before. So that's exciting. Yeah, I think that's exciting. Matt Moore, howdy, Ken and friends. How you doing, Matt? And we still have Luigi here. He's excited to join us. Sometimes you kind of forget he's here because he just likes to drift off to slumberland. True lapdog. Marianella says, "Save Silver, yes." And thank you, Lisa. See, Lisa said you're a lovely dog, Luigi. Yes. Thank you. All Valley, what if Terry Silver be president of the USA? Probably unparalleled prosperity for the USA. We'd probably enter a new golden era. Probably there would be a lot of questions that we would have that we would not want answered, because it's better just to leave well enough alone. But the results, I think, for the United States in the long run will be just incredible. So yeah, I would be fully supportive of a Terry Silver run for president. Nerd World, reopening the writers' room. Yeah. Man, so many great questions, guys. Oh, Luigi's getting restless. He wants to jump like his video game counterpart. Here, let me put him down here. Hey, whoa. Thanks for joining us, Luigi. MOTU Thunder says, I don't think Terry Silver is that much a bad guy because no one level him alone. Yeah, or no one would leave him alone. I agree. Look at how Daniel, and we've talked about this before, but look at how Daniel LaRusso treated him, especially in season 5. Daniel was very intolerant. He did not let Terry just have the freedom to do what he has the right to do, which is build a business, grow a business. No matter if Daniel thought Terry Silver was right or wrong, Terry had the right to do that. And he was purposely trying not to interfere with Daniel. But Daniel just would not stop. Daniel's a bit of a fascist. I mean, if you want to put it that way, a karate fascist. I think everyone would have to agree. He can't abide someone with a different philosophy existing. So the only answer for Daniel is to completely eliminate people he feels are wrong. So that's really too bad. They could have come to an understanding. Maybe Daniel, we hope in season 6 will learn to mature a bit, and maybe he'll realize this. And I don't know. Maybe that'll be the climax of season 6. I don't know. Aurelio says, I need Allie to return in season 6. Always, it would be amazing to have Allie come back. I'd love to see everyone return in season 6 somehow. That would be absolutely incredible. Lucas, thanks for joining us, Lucas. I'm honestly not sure how the Cobra Kai dojo will continue because everybody from the main dojo has left. Yeah, it's interesting. If you listen to Cobra Kai Wisdom, Mike has been on here, and we'll have him back. He's made a very interesting point. and that is whatever is left of the Cobra Kai dojo. It's possible that Sensei Kim will now be running that dojo, and that really she is more about not so much Cobra Kai, but the way of the fist. And so it's possible Terry Silver's Cobra Kai dojo may morph into the way of the fist. So I think that's a really wonderful idea. And maybe we'll have Mike back on to talk about it. Melissa, thanks for joining us from X. Guys, if you're watching on X, you can comment and we can see your comments now. So please do it. What do you think of the idea that of there possibly being a sensei's bracket in this tournament? I love the idea because it is a total callback to the movie Sidekicks, which we reviewed, I think, over a year ago with the Last Row podcast crew. Definitely check it out. You can see all the parallels and ways that the Cobra Kai series actually drew from the movie Sidekicks. Now, the movie Sidekicks starred Jonathan Brandis and Chuck Norris. So this was a Chuck Norris movie, total Karate Kid ripoff, but really enjoyable. Just had a nice 4K Blu-ray release, specialized release, which I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get that at some point, but definitely check out Sidekicks because there are things in there that the creators of Cobra Kai admired and brought in. I think the look and the character of Robbie was definitely a callback to Jonathan Brandis in Sidekicks. Just my own personal opinion. If they made Cobra Kai now, or if they made Cobra Kai back in 1993, I think you would obviously cast, I'll have to ask the creators about this, but you would probably cast Jonathan Brandis as Robbie. I think because he was the kind of actor at that time who would play a character like Robbie. Although Tanner Buchanan is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad it's being made now so that Tanner can play the role. He's absolutely fantastic. Aurora, your rating on Karate Kid Part 3. Well, that's a great question. I don't think it's a bad movie. People say it's a bad movie, and I'll say this, that I actually, my rankings as far as how I like the Karate Kid movies, actually, I love the first one the most. I love the second one after that. And then the third one comes after that. But at the same time, I am a fan of those movies, those first three movies. And I think there's so much to enjoy in Karate Kid 3 that it's completely gotten a bad rap. And so, I don't know. It's hard to rate it because I'm so deep into it. Like I've seen it so many times. But I just appreciate all those elements. I think the issue is if you're going to rank them, the first movie is just a classic. It has everything. And I think, you know, it depends on how you want to look at the third movie, but for some people, it's their favorite. But for me, it's like it's almost separate from the first two. It just has obviously the power and energy of Thomasine Griffith's performance as Terry Silver. It really focuses on Cobra Kai, Daniel kind of turning to the dark side. I think honestly, for me, Karate Kid 3, if there's kind of if you call it sort of like a weakness to it, it might be if you want to call it the A story, where you have Daniel and Miyagi opening a bonsai tree store. Like that's maybe not as interesting as say in the first movie, going Daniel moving to a whole new place, having a fish out of water story, a coming of age story. Whereas like the main thrust in Karate Kid 3 is they open a bonsai tree store that really never has customers. But I think the Cobra Kai side with Terry Silver and that whole side of it is great. Obviously, I think Mike Barnes does an amazing job. Sean Kanan does an amazing job as Mike Barnes. And, another thing is I wish that character, maybe we could have learned more about that character. Of course, on Karate Kid 3, I've done a lot of research on this movie. And so I'm going to be kind of talking about the production of it. And one thing with Karate Kid 3 is that there were lots of rewrites up until the very end. Like Robert Mark Kamen was consistently rewriting that movie. They, up until the day things were shot. I mean, there were scenes written that were not filmed. There were scenes written that were filmed that were cut. Terry Silver wasn't even called Terry Silver until partway through shooting. A lot of his classic scenes weren't even filmed until after shooting was completed. So it was definitely a movie, I think, that was, maybe if it had a little more time in the oven as far as like the script, it might have been something that, I know Ralph Macchio doesn't like the movie, that everyone probably would have liked a bit more. But still, what we got out of it was just this. I think some of the most entertaining moments of the franchise. And on that note, guys, on that note, I was sent. If you haven't seen my interview with Sean Kanan, my recent interview with Sean Kanan, it's in the description. Check it out. He talks about his new audiobook and everything. But you know, Sean's a really cool guy, and he sent me this, and I thought I would share it. And you let me know. I hope you can hear this. This is from 1988, when they were auditioning for Karate Kid 3. So let me pull this up. And this was posted on Facebook by Oliver Harper, who does this who has an amazing channel that looks at all these movies from the 80s and 90s, even today, but has these amazing retrospectives. And let me play this, and please let me know. Hopefully you can hear it, but at least if you can see it, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Jim Caldwell for HBO Entertainment News. It may be tough to make it in Hollywood, but these young hopefuls had to literally fight for their big break last week. The scene was a rare open casting call by Columbia Pictures for a new adversary to face Ralph Macchio in the upcoming Karate Kid 3. For those auditioning, this fighting chance was the chance of a lifetime.
Looking for a teenager, about 5'10", very
Look at that.
muscular, a good actor, athletic.
Look who's in the back.
Hopefully with some karate ability, and who won't be too expensive.
Well, it's a long, very long shot for me because
Isn't that crazy?
And actually looking for a male, well, actually, why not try it?
Along with Macchio, Pat Morita and Academy Award-winning director John G. Avildsen returned to continue the exciting martial arts saga.
Wow. So that blew my mind. And isn't that incredible that Sean Kanan was actually in that shot with the director John Avildsen on this massive casting call? And this was done really kind of as a promotional stunt, try to promote the movie Karate Kid 3. And they had so many thousands of people, and Sean Kanan was there, and he was standing right behind John Avildsen as he's looking for the new Mike Barnes. And that was absolutely fantastic. And maybe we'll have to ask Sean Kanan about this, but Sean said that he had never seen that until today, which is incredible. So thank you to Oliver Harper for posting that, for finding that. And I'll have you note that some people in the comments on that basically said that that was sort of like a stunt. They had already cast Sean Kanan when they filmed that, so that was all planned. And that's absolutely not true, because Sean Kanan, I don't know if you knew this or not, he was not the first person cast as Mike Barnes. They actually cast someone else, and then they got into rehearsals, and then they're like, you know, this isn't quite working for what we're going for. So they actually brought in Sean Kanan. He was actually the runner-up, but he turned out to be the best choice for Mike Barnes, which is really incredible. Peter Vonasak from Cobra Kai Companion Podcast and Obliterated Companion and Podstalgic says Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Peter. I hope you're doing great. That is just an absolutely incredible clip. It's amazing as time goes on, more of these things, more of this history surfaces. Nerdworld says we can see you, Sean. Yes. It's crazy. So many people for the role in Mike Barnes. And the thing is this, guys, like you saw in that clip, everyone, it wasn't just guys, you know, women went to audition, which I think is pretty amazing. It's like, you know, we're going to show up and we're going to go for it because maybe the antagonist does not have to be a guy. Another person who went was William Christopher Ford, who's been on here, the amazing Sensei William Christopher Ford. And he went to audition for Mike Barnes. And while, you know, he was Dennis, he ended up being Dennis in Karate Kid 3. That's how he was discovered, was at that casting call. So for something that was going to be a publicity stunt for the studio, it yielded at least 2 people cast in the movie. So it worked out pretty well. I do want to bring this up because we have a new, some people would say, publicity stunt casting call It's a digital one now for the new Karate Kid movie that's going to be coming out December 13th, 2024. And you could say that that's what that was with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. They were asking for submissions for someone to play the new Karate Kid. And so everyone sent their submissions. You could say that that's kind of the same thing. These public casting calls can be sort of like it's basically a promotional stunt so that everyone is aware that a new Karate Kid movie is coming out. So, but who knows? Maybe that will yield some great results. The character I believe is named Li Fong. So if the character of Li is cast through this public casting call, that will be pretty great. Shin Batman says that crowd though, yeah, there were thousands of people. William Christopher Ford, if you look at our interviews with him, our discussions with him, he thought there was no chance, but he wound up getting a part. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy so many people for the role in Mike Barnes. Yeah, pretty much everyone turned out for the audition, and why not? We had an actor in here comment earlier how he'd love to be on Cobra Kai but doesn't have an agent. Things like these are opportunities. If you don't have an agent, if it's an open casting call, then yeah, that's an opportunity. So it's something people took advantage of. Matt Moore says, Sean Kanan to John Alvinson, I'm losing my patience, so sign it and let's get on with it. I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. Kalthar says, Ken Cole, how are you doing? I'm doing great. It's been a very interesting wrap up to 2023. It's been a great year. We're talking about Cobra Kai right now. We're talking about the new Karate Kid movie. I love talking about it. We also had some very exciting discussions. It was the 10-year anniversary for Tornado Chasers, which is my series, and we had an amazing reunion, a live stream with Reed Timmer and all these storm chasers. And if you don't know, Reed is the most famous storm chaser in the world, probably the most renowned storm chaser in the world. And that's how I got my start, was doing tornado documentaries. And I don't know, 2024 could be another tornado type year. I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, it's great. It's fun. Of course, I'm very happy spending New Year's Eve with all of you. Clifford says, I see your point about Karate Kid 3. In the opening, I noticed that introducing people, it says Thomas Ian Griffith as Terry. Yes, they never said his last name. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a surprise, but I know it was interesting how they credited that. But that was his first feature film role. So in Karate Kid 3, they're able to say introducing Thomas Ian Griffith as Terry. So that's pretty cool. Aurora said, do you know that Terry Silver almost not feature in film? Let's see. Did almost not feature in the film? Yes. So that's a very interesting story. There's an entire story, a version of the script written by Robert Mark Kamen that has Kreese as the main villain of Karate Kid 3. That had to change when Martin Kove needed to back out, and he had an opportunity to star in a series, so a TV series at the time. So he had to say, look, I'm not available. So what they did was they reduced the size of his role, and Robert Mark Kamen had to furiously rewrite the script and come up with a new villain to antagonize Daniel. And so they did, and I can't wait to get into all this, but like Harrow Jones and her casting agency, they cast a wide net. They didn't know exactly what they were going to do, but eventually that came into focus over the course of just a few weeks. And there was a new character created whose name was not Terry Silver, but they cast Thomas Ian Griffith in that role. And they kept on writing and rewriting and kind of honing in on his character. And that kept going all the way through, even just a couple months before the release of the movie. Some of those most famous scenes in the movie that you think of Terry Silver scenes were not in the original shoot. Those were done later. It's really amazing how that movie came together. So let's see. Matt Moore says, Mike Barnes yelling at Daniel from a 5.0 Mustang while doing donuts is the most late 80s thing ever captured on film. Yeah, that's pretty amazing scene. Maybe we can go visit that location at some point. We've been known to do that. DJ Club Rule says, do you think Cobra Kai season 6 will come out in late 2024, Ken? Yes, I do. Unless there are some unforeseen problems with the industry in 2024. John Hurwitz has mentioned that. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. We didn't know that Hollywood would be shut down for so long in 2023. So as long as nothing similar happens in 2024, I think so. The reason is it's because with the Netflix produced versions of the show, so that would be season 4 and season 5, the seasons have been released 11 to 12 months after the start of shooting. So season 4 started shooting very early. I think it was either late January or early February in 2021. And that came out December 31st, 2022. So it was like about 11-month window. And then you had season 5 first start shooting in September of 2021, and it came out in September of 2022. So I think now we have most of the season filming starting in January of 2023. I think we'll probably be looking at that time frame. I'm guessing New Year's window for 2024. So that's what I think. That could change. The big fly in the ointment might be the new Karate Kid movie. You know, Sony, that's interesting because Netflix is really in control of the release date for Cobra Kai season 6, whereas Sony is making and probably distributing their own Karate Kid movie. So Sony, while they're producing Cobra Kai, Netflix is releasing it. So it might be up to Sony to, they put December 13th as the date for the release of the movie. Netflix might adjust that. We don't know. It's kind of really weird, I think. But, you know, someone that, ladies and gentlemen, probably has some incredible thoughts about this is a friend of mine. You've seen his work. If you've seen Cobra Cole, he's the director of photography for Cobra Cole. However, he is an amazing filmmaker in his own right, and he is working on a feature film right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce to you Dave Srock. Dave,
What
how are
up,
you?
Ken Cole?
How you doing, Dave? It's great to see you.
It's good to see you too. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Dave, obviously, I just introduced you for your background in film. Not only do you love movies and TV shows, not only are you a huge fan of Karate Kid 3 and Terry Silver, you're also a filmmaker. You are currently working on your first feature film. And so can you kind of reflecting on 2023, how is that going, working on the feature film, and just your overall thoughts maybe on Terry Silver, Cobra Kai, and Karate Kid going into 2024?
Sure. Beautiful mug, by the way. I'll say for myself, filmmaking wise, it's been a great year with my friends. We made a feature film and we're editing it right now. So looking forward to getting that out to everybody in 2024 and seeing what people think about it. If you want to check out our stuff online, you can find us at Mama Out of Bullets. It's a lot of the same random comedy will be in this movie. So it's been probably one of my best years of movies just because of that. Otherwise, going into 2024, I know you were just talking about is season 6 coming in 2024. And my response to that is it has to be, because if it's all the way in 2025, it's just going to be a really sad thing that we had to wait all the way through the strike and now a whole other separate year. So I have a lot of faith in them that, what was it, season 4 to 5, they turned out so fast that I feel like they'll do the same thing on this. They know what's up. They got it.
Right. And I mean, 2024, that is exactly 40 years after the release of the first Karate Kid movie. In fact, December of 2024 is exactly 40 years after the All Valley tournament in the first Karate Kid movie. It's like, that would be a shame if they missed that, I think.
You can't miss All Valley tournament anniversaries. It's criminal to miss those anniversaries.
You're right. Exactly. You know, let me bring up just a few comments here. We've got some amazing people joining us. Happy New Year, Ken, and everyone from Cobra Kai Wisdom. Mike, it's great to see you. Ben, great to see you, Ben. My goodness. Man, I met Ben at the Live and Badass show. He asked, how can we see the video you created about the deleted scenes of Karate Kid 3? Well, I'll be honest, I haven't created it yet. But when I do, and I'm trying to think of how to create that. Maybe I could ask Dave right now. Dave, okay, let's just say hypothetically, I managed to go in and do research about Karate Kid 3. And I read all these different versions of the script, including the shooting script, which has scenes in it, actually quite a number of scenes in it that were apparently shot, but not in the movie. What would you say is the best way to present that? Should we do reenactments? Should someone read the lines of all the characters? Should we have AI do it? I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on AI, obviously, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, as you know, I have no problem making videos with AI, as it's a sick obsession for myself. Right. But if you're offering up the possibility of you reenacting Terry Silver scenes that never happened, my answer is yes. Let's go. Let's start tomorrow. Like, what are we waiting for?
Right. Well, sure. I'm thinking, okay, so for AI, would you think it would probably be unethical? And I'm sure the actors wouldn't like it if we actually trained AI on those characters and had the AI read the lines and character. They probably wouldn't appreciate that.
They would probably not appreciate it. But for my own sick amusement, I would not be against having a Terry Silver voice that I could auto-generate anything I wanted him to say. So that might be happening in the next week for me.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Dave, you have to keep us posted. We'll figure out the right way to do it. But yeah, I mean, it would be here's what would be amazing. If we could have the original actors sit down and actually read these lines.
Yes.
That would be incredible. I think there's a 0% chance of that happening.
Probably. But in saying that, I would have said there was a 0% chance of a TV show bringing back Terry Silver to the masses. So never say never in the world of Cobra Kai and Karate Kid.
Yeah. Okay. That's hopeful. I love that. Darkest Hour. What would the original story have been had Cove been available? Yeah. Isn't that so, Dave? We may have talked about this, and you probably already knew this, that Martin Cove, John Kreese, was going to be the villain in Karate Kid 3. That's the way it was conceived. And so I haven't been able to get a version of the script, but I have a detailed synopsis of what that story is with John Kreese being the villain. And right off the bat, Dave, what do you think of that? So somehow try and wipe Terry Silver from your mind like he never happened. Do you think that would have been an interesting way to go with the story? Do you think audiences would like to see that? Would have liked to see that?
To me, in the writing sense, that's the 100% right move. Like they were actually on the right track with that. There was no reason to not close that loop since it started in the first one and even got continued in the opening of the second one. So the only reason I'll say it's okay is because Terry Silver exists. Like if that had never happened, then I would be complaining like, why did we not make this Karate Kid 3? But since some miracle landed on us in the name of Silver, I don't feel like I need it. Like I don't feel like I'm missing it personally. And I feel like the show also did that for us. Like the show kind of gave us a whole 3 seasons of that at least.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. And some people say like, oh, that would have been silly. But I think you're right. The way it was written, it would make sense. Like it would make sense. It's, there are some parallels, but I think essentially the idea was that Daniel LaRusso wanted to fight in the tournament, is being bullied, but Miyagi doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And so he's kind of up against the wall. Maybe he's tried to go to different other dojos, and
Sure.
but he's got nowhere else to go. And I'm kind of hinting, we'll do a video about this. But he comes upon Kreese, who, of course, has vowed that he is committed to non-aggression now. He's had a complete change of heart. And as sort of like repayment, or you want to say like doing penance to Daniel or whatever, offers to help Daniel to, prepare for the tournament. That's kind of the idea. And honestly, I could really see that playing out. Like that seems, yeah. And Daniel would be naive enough to do that.
Sure. And it is kind of the movie we still got at the same time, but you just can't beat Terry. So
no, you can't. Not at all. Dave, I want to share with you a couple things, and everyone here who's watching. One of the gifts I got, which was absolutely amazing, I got from my sister, and then my sister's family, Melissa, Lance, Eliana, and Jonah. Thank you so much. Was Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. Did you ever see the show?
Oh, sure. Love Carradine.
Yes. Guys, if you haven't seen this show, you should watch it. If you're a fan of Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, if you're a fan of like early 90s aesthetic, this is really incredible. And we've been talking about Martin Kove. I want to play a clip. He plays a shadow assassin, which I was absolutely surprised. So yeah, let me pull up a clip of this. Hang on a second. And you can give you guys a sample. Here we go.
Then leave. I cannot do that. Even though you are a holy man, I bear you no malice. But if you stand in my way, I will kill you.
Wow.
Okay. That's
powerhouse performances going back and forth there.
Yeah, it's that it's like that perfect sort of, well, it's Carradine, but it's like that sort of like, I don't know, restrained TV. I don't know. It's great.
I wouldn't mess with either of them.
No, I wouldn't either. Not at all. But guys,
awesome.
Check out. Oh, and you know what else I learned just recently is that William Christopher Ford, who played Dennis in Karate Kid 3, his good friend Rob Moses, who just passed away, was actually the main stunt guy and played one of the characters in the show. Which is kind of amazing. It's a small world.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Okay, here's another movie question that Dale has. Do you think we'll get the next Karate Kid on 4K? So this would be the Hilary Swank movie. Do you think we're going to get that on 4K? What do you think, Dave?
Probably not. No offense to the lovers of the film, but it seems like it's always getting pushed to the side.
Right. I think it hasn't even gotten a decent Blu-ray release, guys. But maybe for fans of that movie, and I'll get Dave's thoughts on this, if Hilary Swank comes back and is actually like a decent part in season 6, do you think that I could see Sony maybe trying to re-release, like maybe doing another release of like the first 3 movies, only this time including the next Karate Kid on some like 4K release or something?
Possibly, sure. But again, with streaming today, it almost like, do you wonder, do they even go for it now? Or do they just do the thing where on HBO, they put all the movies and stuff in one block and say, here's the Karate Kid movies, there you go. So,
right.
Unfortunately, because we're in that era, I also think it's probably not going to happen.
Right. So, yeah, I think Dave could be correct. And so your best shot may be either watching it on streaming right now or getting that. There's a Blu-ray release of it. That's okay. But it's cheap. So if you want it physically, you can get it that way. I never asked you, Dave, about the new Karate Kid movie. with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. That's going to be a big thing in 2024. What's your whole read on that?
It feels strange to me personally. Maybe that's unfair because we haven't seen the movie or really know exactly what it is, but I don't know. It was kind of like just such a perfect comeback with Cobra Kai. Like you just couldn't have predicted that Cobra Kai would bring Karate Kid back so perfectly. And it feels a little out of place. Like it just, honestly, it feels the same way to me as what a extra season of the show would be. I think the next season of the show should be the final. We should wrap it up nicely and be done with it. If they did another season, I would be like, what are we feel like we're dragging this out now. And the movie kind of feels like we're dragging something out. But again, I don't know what it's really even about. So there's plenty of movies that I would say that about, and then they come out and I go, oh no, it was fine. So
Right. I know it's a lot of us. It's easy to dog the movie before they've made it, and I want to make sure that I don't do that because I know everyone involved, everyone hired to work on this movie is going to be doing their best to make the best movie possible. So,
right.
and we hope it does well. But yeah, it is kind of an odd. I guess the weird thing is it seems like there wasn't communication or there wasn't between the creators and producers of Cobra Kai, which is your very successful version of that. And then Sony kind of coming along and doing this as a separate thing where now they're trying to like talk and make it work and everything, but it wasn't like conceived as something to purposely go alongside the series.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit you're getting in the territory of the Marvel, Sony, Spider-Man, Venom stuff, and it gets to a point where the audience doesn't believe that the people making it actually care. They just feel like stuff's getting thrown out at them. So,
right. Absolutely. Now, Matt Moore says, I'd love to ask John Alvinson how they came up with the idea for the Terry Silver bathtub scene. Brilliant. And so this is, and the thing is, he's got the steam room scene and the bathtub scene. Now that bathtub scene is like as much, I don't know what you'd call it. It's so over the top. It's so much crammed into one scene. It's really incredible how much character ground Terry Silver covers in that one scene.
Yeah. There's not many things I would call perfect, but I think that's a perfect movie scene. Like I would never get tired of watching that. You could put it on the TV at any point and I'd go, oh, are we at the bathtub scene? Yeah, let's check this out for a second.
Yes, yes.
And how did they come up with it? My guess would be once they had the essence of Silver, it writes itself after that point. You're just like, he's got to be in a bubble bath with a phone and doing his business. So,
right. And it was there, like from the earliest version of the script I read for Karate Kid 3, it was there. Terry was not named Terry, but in fact, he might not have been named Terry during the filming of that scene, but it was there. It was always there.
Interesting.
It is that movie just had so many changes down to the wire, which is pretty incredible. Peter Vonosak says, what if Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han appear in the new film as themselves, but imaginary, a la sidekicks, as inspiration to mentor, and that's all they'll appear for? What do you think, Dave?
I mean, it feels a little classier, maybe, but at the same time, it feels like we've entered a loophole to say, no, we didn't mix the thing. But, whatever reason they're together, I almost am not super concerned about. I almost just feel like, is it genuine when they're together, or does it just feel like we're being sold a t-shirt?
Right. Yes, I agree. And that
I do like that though, Peter. That is a fun idea.
Right. And I think that there's a movie what that reminds me of, Peter, is like, I think there's a movie called No Retreat, No Surrender. It's like in Mystery Science Theater, like riffs, like they riff that movie because it's like really bad. But it reminds me of like the main hero in that movie idolizes Bruce Lee. And that movie got the permission of Bruce Lee's family to include the character Bruce Lee played by another actor, but he shows up as a ghost sort of to train the main character. So he's kind of a figment of this person's imagination, I guess, in a way. And so maybe that, I don't know. So I guess my reaction would be, I don't know if it's a good thing to take an idea from No Retreat, No Surrender, but maybe they could do it like a little better. But you're right, it would be classy because it wouldn't violate canon. Yeah, I guess it would make sense.
Yeah. So
like
sometimes I think when you do that too, you take a little heat off of the audience being mad about it because they're just like, oh, it wasn't that big. It was actually kind of small, so we're okay with it.
Yeah. I think we fans are just going crazy trying to make the square peg fit in the round hole.
Yeah.
Of how this is going to work. But who knows? You know, I have a feeling like if John, Josh, and Hayden were giving notes to them making the movie and they're worried about like some conflict, I have a feeling they would say the best way to address it is just with a one-line offhanded joke, and that's it. Like, right. I don't know, something like Daniel LaRusso asking Mr. Hahn, like, don't you look like some movie star I've seen? And be like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, or you know, something that kind of like address it and dismiss it. So kind of a wink. I don't know. Look at this. Kelsey says, I will audition for any Jessica Andrews lines. Zero acting experience, but a lot of heart. Yeah, there are some more Jessica Andrews lines. In fact, there are some moments that I really wish they'd left in the movie. I don't know why they cut him out. Maybe the performance wasn't what Alvinson wanted. Maybe the pacing was off, but I really wish some of that stuff was left in the movie. Maybe it'll come back. I'd love, Dave, I'm sure you'd agree, if we got access to like the Sony archives to go down to Sony Pictures and go through all the shot material for Karate Kid 3, it would be fun to go in and do an alternate cut, I think, of the movie.
Oh, yeah. Specifically the training montage. I know you and I have talked about that, but there's definitely like more cool stuff they filmed for that montage that it doesn't need to be super long, but just like 40 seconds longer, maybe.
Right. And I don't know, it's strange when you get to 1989, you're making this movie in a rush, Karate Kid 3, and the editing decisions that they made. I wonder if they had like certain inclinations or pressures for the movie to be a certain way. I know John Avildsen felt the need to keep giving Thomas Ian Griffith direction to go more over the top, where he felt like, I don't know if I want to do that, but he did it. And then those are the takes, you know, mainly that they used in the movie. It'd be very interesting to see all the takes, just recut the movie without necessarily having to amp it up to 11, you know, maybe like an 8, and see if there's a completely different vibe with that movie that's more in line with, say, Karate Kid 1.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's there. The switching any take on an actor can make a huge difference on what the audience is thinking about. So, I would really love to see behind the scenes footage of those conversations with John G. Avildsen and Thomas Ian Griffith about dialing it up. And I would love to see the look on Thomas Ian Griffith's face, because I've seen him tell the story where he's like, you really want more?
Right.
And, I would love to see John G. Avildsen just being excited, like, yes, more, let's go for it. Because it's possible we would have loved the character all the same if he wasn't so over the top and he was just a normal villain. That was great. We would be like, oh, he was a good villain. But would we have loved him as much as we do? I think we're thanking John G. Avildsen for that.
That's a really great point, because yeah, do we want him to just kind of soak into the tapestry of the movie, or do we want him to make the movie with these just undeniable scenes that have lasted until this day?
Yeah.
Let's see. We had a similar. So Melissa asked, "Do you think on X? By the way, if you're watching on X, you can comment now. Do you think that if they would have stuck to the OG plot but with Silver in it in Karate Kid 3, that it would have done better?" I think that's it. That's pretty much the plot. What you saw in Karate Kid 3, the only things are different are they rewrote some scenes, like there's a whole scene with John Kreese and Terry Silver where they're driving to the airport that had a completely different conversation that they actually shot. And then in the movie, you see them driving from the distance and you have voiceovers, and it's completely different lines.
What are they talking about in the original on that car ride?
It's more background of it's basically John Kreese kind of lamenting his current situation and kind of unsure. He's still depressed. He doesn't know what to do. And Terry's reassuring him and telling him, giving him advice about teaching and what he should do when he goes to Tahiti. And he's I think giving him money and, kind of all those things. And I assume it was one of those where it was shot in the moving car with talking back and forth. And then it ends with them pulling up at the airport. So
they must have always ended the conversation with Cobra Kai, say it, Cobra Kai, because that part we do see for real.
Yes, exactly. And there were I read at least 2 to 3 different versions of the final fight. And there was a lot added after the movie had finished shooting, like pickups. That's obviously Dave, knows about pickups. And that's after you finish shooting the movie, you go back and you might go back for a couple weeks and shoot new material and write and shoot new material to kind of strengthen the movie. And so a lot of that stuff in the final fight scene, like the whole win a point, lose a point thing from Terry, not in the script, not in the shooting script. That was all must have been shot very late as inserts. So that whole plan was not part of the fight scene. Also, with the fight scene, there was a version where it followed very closely to say the original movie, where there was fighting going back and forth, where it was more even, where Daniel was kind of humiliating Mike Barnes in the fight a bit, big swings, big epic tournament finish. So that was all changed. Really, really interesting.
Yeah, those are big changes too to make actually to something that you got to choreograph and block out like that.
Yes. Ooh, this is a good philosophical movie question. Jorge says, "Hello, Ken. In your opinion, is there a difference between favorite and best? For example, is your favorite movie and the best movie you've ever seen one and the same, or 2 different things?" Ooh, Dave, I'm going to throw this to you as a movie fan and filmmaker.
Sure, I have a strong opinion about this, and that is they are not the same thing. And that's because typically every year a family member or a friend will say, "Hey, what were your favorite movies of the year?" And I'm usually telling them, I think this was the best movie I saw, but this was my favorite. And usually my favorite is not something that I'm just going to walk around and recommend to everybody. It's probably something that was more specific to me or a certain niche group that likes that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I find it's interesting and maybe valuable to think of these things compared to food, right? Like movies it's almost like a meal. That's being prepared and served. And that's something that you return to, and you're always going to have another meal. And so is there a difference between the best thing you've ever eaten, say technically from a food culinary perspective, and your favorite thing?
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
There absolutely is. We could go and right now, Dave, go to some place in Los Angeles and order the most amazing culinary delight, expertly crafted, and go, man, that was just absolutely a fantastic meal. But I will have no problem saying like what I like more than that, my favorite thing would probably be a pizza with pepperoni and pineapple. You know,
Sure.
it's like it's different.
It's way different, but I think maybe something about the Oscars that people always complain about. You know, they're calling it the best movie of the year, and that's where it gets tricky for everybody's opinions on what wins awards and whatnot.
Right. Well, okay. So speaking of movies, I got to sneak this in because you mentioned that you might possibly have we're going to go see Ferrari. Did you see that movie?
I did see Ferrari. I've seen a few movies this week, but Michael Mann is my favorite director, so I had no choice. I had to see Ferrari. This wasn't even a discussion. I don't care about cars whatsoever, so I wasn't super excited. But again, Michael Mann hasn't really made a movie in over 10 years now, so I was excited for that. And I would say I enjoyed the movie more than I thought I was going to. So
Oh, okay.
it was not terrible. However, I saw a movie with you over this
Yes.
holiday season, and I absolutely loved the movie we saw, which was The Iron Claw.
Yeah. That was really good. And
Yes, I loved
it
it.
is really sad.
It is a devastating movie, so be prepared for that. But I probably the best movie about wrestling ever made.
Mhm.
Uh, Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler was fine, but I did think it had a couple of shortcomings. This movie is as sad as it is. I think you could recommend it to like your parents, even. Like I think it could be seen by a teenager and somebody who's in their 70s, and everybody would probably respond to it about the same way. But that I would say that was one of the better movies I saw this year for sure.
And what would you say to like people watching right now who might go, I hear it's good and I'm interested in seeing it, but I don't know if I'm really in the mood to see like a sad movie, or I don't want to be devastated and I might not watch the movie because of that. What would you say?
Well, I actually, when people say that, I will typically say, "Oh, then don't go see it," because I don't want to be responsible for them being all busted up for a couple of days. But I will say, as dark and as sad as the movie gets, when we left, I had more of a feeling of hopeful things in life. So I don't think they leave you beaten over the head with a bat in sadness. I do think they leave you in a more hopeful, loving place, and
Mhm.
that is really the thing though that I was thinking most of the movie is, wow, this is good, but are they gonna land this and make tie this? What is the end scene of this? Like, how do you go through all this and wrap this up? And then they
Mhm.
wrapped it up, and I was just bubbling. I couldn't stop myself from getting choked up and crying. And I was like, "This is it. This is how you wrap it up." So good job.
Right. I know. And it's an interesting movie because, we've been to, I've been to movies that are kind of like openly weepy, that try to get you to weep or whatever. This isn't like that. It's almost, if the sad things you could say start to happen in the movie, it's in a very dry way. Like it's not trying to get you to cry or anything like that. And I think it's just it's very authentic and it feels true, like the way it happens. And then things just keep happening. And I think it all right builds up towards the end when you're like, oh my gosh, you're just overcome with everything that's happened. But I think it feels true. Like what the characters did and their reactions, how they behaved, feels very true to life. And I think that's why maybe it's kind of cathartic to watch it. Even if it is sad or devastating, sometimes it's good to see a movie like that.
No, I agree with that. It did not feel manipulative
Right,
in its
right. That's it.
emotions. It was
Yeah,
just things were happening that would make you go, "Oh, well, that's tough," and
yeah.
then more things would keep happening. But that being said, there's a lot of humor in the movie that's great too. There's definitely some funny wrestling bits, and the actor who played Ric Flair was quite a character as well. But Really, the thing I guess I gotta say is Zac Efron was incredible in it.
Knocked it out of
Like,
the park.
yeah, like everybody's doing a great job, but he's the grounded like center to the movie, and whatever praise he should or can get for it should absolutely happen.
Yeah, it's almost like he makes a character that's so good-hearted, and
Yes.
you just you just want to be friends with this guy or know this guy in your life, and you feel totally in his corner, so to say. And then things happen, and it's like, oh, it's like you feel so bad, that someone like that has to deal with things,
Yep. There's a big part of that movie where you're like, I would love to just give this guy a hug and tell him everything's going to be okay, but it doesn't
Yeah,
seem
right.
like that's what's happening in his life right now.
Right. So, without a doubt, guys, we can recommend The Iron Claw if you're looking for a movie like that. I think, Dave, you and I both felt like this reminded us of like the types of movies that used to come out, like, I don't know, a couple decades ago, 2, 3 decades ago, before this fascination with superhero movies. Nothing against superheroes and the way these sort of mega budget, prefab blockbusters, now flopbusters, I guess you could say, just started dominating movie going. It felt like this is the type of movie that would really get a very nice showcase and a bit of a run in movie theaters, and that people will be talking about for a long time. Not really any visible special effects, just focused on human drama and acting, really great directing and cinematography and all that.
Yeah, it just was a good, solid drama, grounded movie. Didn't need anything super fancy going on in it, and everything worked. So I did listen to an interview with the director, and I guess he worked on the script for like 7 or 8 years. So
Wow.
it was something they even considered making it a show, I guess, at one point, and then he said, "No, I don't want to draw it out. Let's just keep it in one thing." So I think the work they put in showed.
Yeah, that must have been a labor of love for
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Wow, that's really great. Okay, so we can definitely wholeheartedly recommend that. I see in the chat, people are talking about this new Karate Kid movie again. Oliver says, "Yeah, I'm really concerned Sony's going to try to interfere because of the movie, and I think interfere with the series." So maybe the possibility, Dave, that Sony will try and mandate, I don't know, say like an appearance from Mr. Han or some kind of tie-in with the new movie coming
Right.
out that John, Josh, and Hayden otherwise wouldn't be too keen on.
I don't think they'll do it. I think they are confident enough to do their show the way they've been doing it. I unless someone writes a huge fat check, maybe I would probably take that check myself. But like, they've done such a good job. I don't see them saying, "Hey, you're not messing with our final season of this." So
Right. Yeah, exactly. I agree. And John says, "Hello, Ken and Dave. How you doing, John?
hello,
Good to see
John.
you." Oliver says, "Hollywood cares more about big names, means better box office most times." Yeah, they're going to do whatever they can to try and guarantee as much money coming back to them for investing the money and making the movie. That's for sure.
Yep.
But Terry Silver says, "Save me."
Perfect picture.
Don't worry, Terry. What's that? What's that, Dave?
I said it's the perfect picture of Terry to say "save me" with that.
Dave, if there's a message you want to send to Terry Silver right now, who could be in prison, what would you say?
Geez, stay strong. We're fighting for you. We'll get you out of there soon. We believe in you.
Yes.
We need you back at the piano.
Back at the piano. Speaking of that, Dave, we had a tweet today from Julian, said, "Today's the day. It's been 2 years to the day since Thomas has returned as Terry Silver in season 4. He has the best scenes in season 4. Hope to see him back in season 6. So this being the anniversary of Terry Silver's return, Dave, you mentioned the piano. That's where we first saw him. What have you thought so far, and where would you like to see it go?
Of Terry in season 4 and 5 together, you're saying?
Yes.
Well, what I think is it exceeded any expectation I could have ever had for a Terry Silver return. That him fighting Chosen in front of the pool with the fire, like all of that was just like, oh my God, never thought I would see this. But I was a little disappointed that he got arrested and put into jail. And maybe, it's a sick obsession, yes, but maybe there's a part of me that's like, you can't cage Terry Silver. His legend is too big to be put in a cell. So my brain like almost barely accepts it right now. Like my brain always goes, well, they're gonna get him out of there. You can't do that to Terry. But maybe he is gonna stay. I'm not sure. I really have no idea what they are gonna do with him. So everything they've given me, I've absolutely loved. Didn't expect him and Kreese to become enemies, but I'm okay with it. And the fact that he ended that season 4 on top with his twist of I'm on top, that was me like standing up and applauding, being like, yes, this is what you do if you bring Terry Silver back. So I love everything they've done, but we got to get him out of prison. That's the short answer.
Right. And, my opinion on this, and you may agree or you may not agree, but Terry is Terry. He's Terry Silver. Like, he doesn't do anything unless he's assured full control over the situation. And he has a long, long history of stacking the courts, the laws, the enforcement in his favor. I really don't think that a billionaire of Terry's stature is going to be held in jail, especially when there's so much video evidence that suggests that other people are at fault. People broke into his home. They broke into his business. I mean, you basically have probably security camera footage of Daniel LaRusso beating up on the owner of this dojo in his own dojo. I don't see how Terry with his billions couldn't completely flip the situation very quickly.
That's what I guess that's the internal conflict, right? Like,
Right.
where he is right now, but waiting for the answer of how he's getting out is like, you're for sure he's getting out, but then you're like, he's not just getting out and disappearing, right? Like, he's getting out and then going full Terry again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
And Darkest Hour says Terry is this universe's Lex Luthor. Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. Super genius.
They both love real estate.
Yep, that's right. They both love real estate. And Dave, if it's okay with you here, I don't know if you've seen this, but I got this from my family. Hang on.
Whoa.
Okay, guys.
I didn't even know they made that.
Yes, this just came out. This was like really delayed, but this is from Melissa, Lance, Eliana, and Jonah. Thank you so much. They gave me this, and I was going to open this like right here. Would that be okay?
I'm okay with it. I don't know. There might be somebody online who has a problem with you unboxing an action figure, but personally, I would say go for it. I mean, He's got extra hands. Don't you want to see what those extra hands do?
I do. And guys, this is like available now. I think you have the most success of getting it if you buy it directly from Diamond Select. That's who's making these. They have like, I think 5 other figures. Okay. So got the tape open here. Okay.
Does he come with a towel you can drape over his neck?
No. And that's honestly like, I would, love to talk to the people who make these things. I see this is actually much bigger than I thought it would be. This is like, I think this is a 7-inch figure. It seems a bit bigger than I thought it would be.
Right.
Okay. So let's, oh no, there's more tape. Hang on. Got to cut this. But I really this looks incredible, and we'll wait to get it out, but I really want someone to make a very tall, detailed version of Terry from Karate Kid 3. Like,
Yeah.
I think that needs to happen.
What outfit would you have him in for that figure then, for the KK3 figurine? Because I think I know what I would pick, but I'm curious what you would pick.
See, it's tricky for me because I'd want it. I'd want it to have multiple versions. Like, obviously, there's the black karate gi. There's the version of him in his silk Cobra Kai gi, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
There's his sort of leather jacket with gold chain look. There's his steam room look. There's his walking out of the Ennis house with dressed in a tux, with his ponytail tied with a ribbon.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible. There's
you still haven't said one that I would pick though, actually.
Okay. There's the breaking into Mr. Miyagi's special ops covert leather jacket, all black look.
Yeah, hiding in the fireplace.
Yep, hiding in the fireplace, Terry. There's the conning Daniel, like normal looking poor, quote unquote poor, which is like normal.
That's what I would say. The gray sweatshirt and
yes.
the jeans. And I would call it like deceiving Terry or something, like whatever his fake alias.
I think that would have to come with the beat up truck that he could drive. That would be incredible. And then of course you can't deny the ascot wearing Terry at the turn. Like, that's a whole line of action figures right there.
It is.
And
you can't.
I think
Terry.
No. Between all of us watching right now, I bet we could completely fund an entire line of Terry action figures. Okay, guys. So
Matt Morris he agrees with the ascot look, by the way.
Oh, sweet. Thank you, Matt. Okay, so this is kind of like concealed or protected. Okay, so I just took Terry out, and we'll get to his other hands and things like that pretty soon. So here's Terry. I don't know if this thing's gonna autofocus is gonna go on him or not. Here, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, I might have to back it up a bit.
Okay, so there's Terry from the front. And it's interesting to me because his feet, he's got bare feet. He's definitely in the dojo. But look at him. They actually kind of got his posture right, where he's so tall, he has to sort of hunch down and kind of loom over the people he's talking to. You can kind of see his ponytail. He's movable. Like, you can pose him, it looks like. And you can adjust his head. So his head's looking down or looking up. Okay, so there's that. There's he's got a little what is this? Maybe is this to go with I'm sorry, I'm not really well versed in the world of action or posable figures. I'm kind of a noob at this.
Sorry,
we might have to get Drew O'Halley, I think, has more experience in this stuff. We might have to get him on here. Okay, so there's like this stand thing. So that's got a cobra on it, Cobra Kai. And I guess that's what this is. Does this go in there? Maybe to pose, maybe people can kind of tell us what to do. But I think Terry is meant to sort of, he can stand on here, which that's probably what I'm going to do with him. And then he has all these hands. I hope I didn't lose one.
I think that'll be a perfect addition for your background setup there.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to keep getting more of them. They have Johnny and Chosen. So this is kind of a gripping hand. So his normal hands are kind of like punch hands. This is like a tiger claw hand. So you've got those. You've got let's see what we got. This is this is like I forget what you call that, but like if you're gonna like
It's like
kind
a
of go
chop.
right into someone's chop right into the throat, or maybe if you're gonna chop a piece of wood.
Yeah. Well, if a man can't breathe, he can't fight.
That's right. Maybe are these Quicksilver hands? Maybe, I don't know. And then this is it's like he's gripping something or holding something, which I'm still, guys, I'm so confused with what this thing is.
Yeah, I wish I could help you with that, but I feel like it is more of a stand thing, not a hold it thing.
Right. But yeah, that's what comes with this. It's kind of crazy. I never thought there would be a day after I became an adult when they would produce a Terry Silver action figure. That's
what's so incredible about the show, you know.
Right.
They resurrected the king.
they really did. Okay, so you mentioned what you would have. Is that what you would? What other versions of a Terry Silver action figure would you do?
Well, like I said, I would love to have him in the gray sweatshirt pretending to be poor. For some reason, that's one of the funniest Terrys to me. But I probably, if there's a top seller, it is the tournament look with the ascot. But if we're going with new Terry from the show, I would take that robe too that he was wearing when he was playing the piano. Like piano Terry is top Terry. That's up there. Tofu Terry.
I agree. In fact, you could, you talked about how he was on top of the world at the end of season 4. I agree with that, but there is something about him in his robe playing masterpieces on his piano that to me, he seems so much more dominating, like, and scary. And maybe we'll get more of that in season 6. I don't know.
I hope so. I hope he kind of remains the super villain. And I guess if anything, they would need Kreese to team up with LaRusso to bring down Silver, but I kind of don't want that either. But
what about the idea of, I'm just going to throw this out here. Kim Da-eun taking advantage of the situation. Maybe she really never cared about Terry Silver and Cobra Kai. She cared more about her grandfather's legacy. And it seems like she has contempt for Terry Silver through a good chunk of season 5 anyway, and thinks he can't really deliver on his promises. Do you think she'll swoop in, take over, want to do things her way? And is there a possibility where Terry and Kreese could fight it out, where they might have to team up against Kim Da-eun to take back Cobra Kai?
I wouldn't be against that either. I think I just don't want everybody being all happy and friends, I guess, at the end.
Right.
So that's why Terry's so great. He keeps the supervillain on the show, and he keeps the kind of evil empire spirit alive.
Right. And the thing is this, like, people talk about redemption arcs and things like that. And I agree. It's like, these characters don't need redemption arcs, I don't think, in any way. Like, they don't need to be redeemed. What I kind of love is the idea of I don't know what you'd call Terry, like in RPG terms, but he's more of kind of like a chaotic evil or something. Or like, it's sort of like he might team up with you while his interests align with you. But as soon as they don't, he'll go off and want to dominate the world. But like, it might be cool if Terry and Kreese, even though there's been a lot against them, maybe there's a common cause where they could unite with them temporarily to achieve something. But then, Terry doesn't have any like good guy loyalties necessarily. But just in that brief moment of time, their interests align or something like that.
Right. And that would all make sense, I feel like. And I guess if anything, it's all supposedly leading up to the big tournament again, right? So
Mhm.
we could see that there's quite a few shakeups before the tournament that could lead to all that.
Right. Let's see. Terry Johnson says, I just don't want Terry to die or be locked up forever. And I think you'll be heartened to know, like, when I had a chance to talk with Hayden Schlossberg, if you haven't seen my interview with him, go watch it. Because they all love Terry, but he has a special love for Terry in Karate Kid 3. He asked me, do you want to know what's going to happen with Terry? And I said, I actually don't. At that point, I just felt like, no, this is just too soon. I can't know yet. But he's like, okay. But he basically said he's very concerned with Terry not going into oblivion. So I think that's that's good to hear.
Yeah. It's kind of the same confidence they gave us in the earlier seasons. Like, they brought his name up very early, and it was like, wait a minute, are they going to bring him back? And then they did. So the love for him has been there since the beginning.
Right. They built him up. They built him up through flashbacks, and they really rolled out the red carpet for the introduction of his character. So I don't think they would just dismiss it carelessly. So wow. Well, guys, Dave, what do you have any huge plans for the new year? Anything you're looking forward to either tonight or into 2024?
Sleeping in, getting a lot of sleep. Sounds pretty good. No, nothing specific other than what we talked about earlier. I have a movie coming out next year, and I'll be working on that and looking forward to that.
Can you say the name of the movie yet, or is it still
Sure.
just
Yeah.
working title? Okay.
No, the movie is called Tom Doesn't Care, and it's about a guy named Tom who doesn't care about things.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, I've had the opportunity to see just maybe 1 or 2 minutes of rough footage from it, and as you can imagine, with Dave Schrock, it looks good. His stuff just looks good, and it's a very intriguing concept. And I would suggest everyone go look at Mama Out of Bullets. That's Dave's YouTube channel, and it has a lot of his short films. As you said, Dave, it's kind of your vibe, your humor,
Yeah, if you like dark humor, you'll like our stuff. If you don't, stay away.
Right. And I would say that if you enjoy Terry Silver as a character, you probably enjoy dark humor. So you'll probably like. We're all of similar minds here, I think, which is great. So well, that's fantastic. I know I'm looking forward to getting some good sleep. I've got lots of different projects I'm working on. I definitely think that somehow we got to make that deleted scenes of Karate Kid 3 work somehow. It would be fun. I mean, dude, wouldn't it be so? It would be fun to see what AI could do as far as recreating those scenes with the actors' voices. Even though, guys, I understand if you're watching this that you wouldn't want AI to come along and perform those scenes.
For sure.
But it would be a hoot to hear how they would say those lines.
Well, what you could do, make an AI version, then get your actors to do acted version, compare them both, see what people are into. That might really set the tone for where we're going in the future.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and Sony, if you're watching and you want to give Dave and I access to your archives to go in and look at all the different cuts of Karate Kid 3. I mean, it's a movie that perhaps doesn't have any attention. Probably no one at Sony has really cared about Karate Kid 3. And so we do. We're filmmakers. We have experience, and we would gladly go respectfully and comb through every single alternate take and scene that was shot for Karate Kid 3.
We will do the same thing that Peter Jackson did for the Beatles.
Yes.
All respect. Put it all out there. We got you.
Yes. That would be so exciting. And I'll just add on to that. If you watch the trailer for Karate Kid 3, I think you get a sense of like how different the vibe of the movie could be. There are deleted scenes in that trailer. Almost every take that's used in that trailer is a different take than what's in the final movie. And it really kind of gives this idea of this different vibe that Karate Kid 3 could have been. It'd be fun to discover that.
Absolutely.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to do to celebrate? Any in the comments? Anyone have any ideas of anything else we need to do to celebrate the end of 2023?
Oh, geez. I mean, let's look forward to the final season of Cobra Kai in 2024. That's what we got.
Yep. I agree. I think it's going to be a fun year, a badass year. I sure hope so. And if you're a fan of this stuff, you know, we've got the series and also the new movie and Dave's new movie, Tom Doesn't Care, which we will track here, Dave. Like when you have news of this coming out and, you know, going through the process and stuff, like let's do updates on this channel so everyone can kind of follow that. So
sure,
we can know where to see it and everything.
Yep. Happy to share anything with you guys.
That's fantastic. Well, Dave, thank you for joining us today. Everyone, thank you for joining us in celebration of the end of 2023. We hope you're having a great evening, great New Year's Eve. If it's coming up, I think some people in the farthest east time zones are maybe less than a half hour away from 2024. We wish you a happy new year. For everyone else in the United States, we hope you stay happy and safe this New Year's Eve. Don't go too crazy. You know, don't harm anyone or yourself with the fun you're having. You know, have a happy new year. And Dave, thanks for joining us today. We couldn't close out 2023 without you.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.
Very good. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. And coming up at the top of the hour will be the members only live stream. So I look forward to seeing finalists and only members in that live stream. And we'll see you next time. All right, bye.
Want to be part of the live KenCast show? Subscribe to the Ken Cole YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to get alerts about every new show. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time on KenCast.